Okay, so good day to each and everyone, no? Okay, so before tayo mag-start ng lesson, meron kayong nakikitang isang image, no, sa presentation na ito. And then somehow we observe, no, na magulo yung nakikita natin, no? At hindi organized yung pagkakayos ng mga jigsaw puzzles. So as we ask in our minds, no, ano gagawin natin para mas maging maayos siya? Lilinisin, itatapon, or kung ano man yung gagawin nyo. Pero sa totoo lang, tayo, no, as an inquisitive person din, or some explorative individual din, gagawin natin, bubuuin natin yung jigsaw puzzle para mas maging organized siya. Then at the same time, makita natin kung ano yung image na naandoon sa sa jigsaw puzzle na yun kapag nabuo natin siya. And then usually ang lesson lang naman natin this time is all about levels of biological organization. And then ano nga bang ibig sabihin ng organization? So organization is one of the characteristics of living things, that we are made up of organized structures and grouped in a unique way that they create and maintain their living conditions. So usually nagsisimula siya sa pinakababa. Kailangan laseran natin, ha? Sa pinakababa, nagsisimula siya sa atom, sa molecule, organelle, cell, tissue, organ system, organism, population, community, ecosystem, biome, at saka biosphere. Kung wala ang biosphere, wala din yung biome. Walang biome, walang ecosystem, walang... Yun, hanggang sa pababa na yun. Ganun lang yun. Pababa siya ng pababa. Kung wala yung isa, edi wala din yan. Obviously, karamihan dyan, di ba? Kung wala yun nandito, di ba? Yan. Pag nawala yung isa sa na yan. And then, magsimula tayo sa pinakababa, no? Just yung atom. So, atom, it comes from the Greek word atomos, which means undivided, no? So, ang atoms, it is indivisible, no? At saka obviously, hindi naman natin siya makikita sa ating mga mata, diba? It is not visible to our naked eye. Then usually, they're the basic building blocks of ordinary matter, according nga sa chemistry, diba? Then usually, ang mga atoms, hindi yan nawawasak or nagagawa. Likas na kung ano yun nandito na likas na nandyan sa atin. But suddenly, hindi natin talaga siya nakakita. And then usually, atoms composed of subatomic particles called protons. Protons have a positive value. Electrons contains negative value. And then neutrons consist of no charge particle of an atom. And then, saan ba gawa mga subatomic particles, no? So usually, they made of quarks. Gawa sila sa quarks, di ba? And then, an element is a pure substance that consists entirely of one type of atom only. Yan, remember that thing. Then, in molecules, it is an electrically neutral group of two or more atoms held together by chemical bonds. For example, meron tayong nakikitang dalawang atoms dyan, yung H at saka yung O. H stands for hydrogen and then yung O stands for oxygen. So, meron tayong dalawang klaseng or dalawang type, no, ng elements na nandito or dalawang atom. Then, nag-combine sila to form a molecule. Kaya sila nakabuo ng H2O. Bakit H2O? From the word itself, H2, which means dalawang hydrogen. Then yung O, katulad ng sinabi ko nung nakaraan nung natin, sa matter, no, proper writing of chemical formulas, kapag nag-iisa lang yung atom, no, just like yung oxygen, hindi na natin nilalagay yung 1 dun. Matik na nag-iisa talaga siya. The next, organelles. They are the tiny cellular structure that performs specific functions within a cell, no? Yung mga examples ng mga organelles just like mga ribosomes, mitochondria, mga lysosomes, peroxisomes, and suddenly, kung ano yung nakikita nyo dyan na parte ng isang cell, no? Ito yung subcellular parts, no? And then next, cells, no? So usually in cells, it is the basic unit of structure and function of a living things, no? So this is the simplest level in which structures can be organized into a living condition. Meron tayong iba't ibang klaseng cells, just like animal cell, plant cell, pero suddenly baka yung iba maisip ninyo na meron pa tayong mga blood cells, muscle cells, endothelial cells, nerve cells, kung ano man yung nakikita nyo dito. Yung nakikita nyo dyan, isa yung example ng specialized cells, diba? Then usually two basic types of cells are animal cells at saka plant cells, no? At suddenly in cells, meron din tayong tinatawag na mga unicellular organisms, no? At saka multicellular organisms. So unicellular organisms are made up of only one cell that carries out all of the functions needed by the organisms, no? So they include bacteria, protists, yeast, ano pa ba? Amoeba. Nasabi ko na ba yung amoeba? Hindi pa. At saka paramecium. Yan. So, just like for example, a paramecium is a sleeper-shaped unicellular organism found in pond water. It takes in food from the water and digests it in organelles known as food vacuoles, no? And then, yung vacuoles, may encounter natin siya later on. And then, nutrients from the food travel through the cytoplasm to the surrounding organelles, helping to keep the cell and thus the organism's function. So, yun lang. No? So, next, multicellular organisms use many different cells to function. No? So, sa madaling sabi, it composed of more than one cell with group of cells differentiating to take on specialized function. In humans, cells differentiate early in development to become nerve cells, skin cells, muscle cells, blood cells, and other types of specialized cells. One can easily observe the difference in these cells under a microscope, and then usually, kaya kung bakit tayo nagkakaroon din ng mga multicellular organisms, that because of particular things, no? And then usually, ang nagtatagilay lang naman ng mga multicellular organisms ay yung mga hayop at saka mga halaman, even though yung tao din, di ba? And then, sumunod na type naman is yung tissue or mga tissues, no? So it is a group of cells that have a same structure and perform specific functions, just like connective, epithelial, muscle, and then nervous tissues. So meron tayong basic types, di ba? Katulad ng kasabi ko lang, no? So sa connective tissues, no? And ito yung mga functions nila, no? It helps the structure, supports, and transport of substances, no? To bind epithelial tissues that includes fat cells, bone cells, and blood cells, which produces collagen, that is most common protein of our body that gives strength and resiliency to perform a function to our body. Ganon. What about epithelial tissues, no? So it helps to protect, absorb, and excrete several materials, no? That located at the skin and lining of digestive system. Yun. And then nervous tissues, no? It helps the transmission of nerve impulses to regulate other body functions. So muscle tissues, bago nga pala tayo mag-proceed sa muscle tissues, dun muna tayo sa nervous tissues. So it helps the neuron cells carry out these impulses, as well as the glial cell, which surrounds and protect neurons, no? So what about muscle tissues? So it helps for voluntary and involuntary movement. So anong klaseng voluntary movement yun? So kapag sinabi natin voluntary, walking and lifting other objects, no? Involuntary, just like tiny muscles that controls the size of the pupil in the eye. Ganun yun. Involuntary yun. So what about organs? So in organs, It is a group of different types of tissues that work together to perform a specific complex function. So just like for example, stomach. Stomach consists of several types of tissues, just like epithelial, muscular, nervous, vascular, connective, and fibrous tissues to perform together for digestion of food. So, ganyan po siya. And then usually, yung mga plants, meron din sila mga organs. So, the roots for anchorage and absorption of water. The stems for support and conduction of food and water. So, leaves for photosynthesis, flower for production of seeds, fruits for protection of seeds, then katulad din sa flowers, and then yung seeds helps for the reproduction of new plants. So kasunod naman ito yung organ systems. No? So, it is a group of organs working together to perform a specific functions, just like for example, yung digestive system. It helps to perform digestion and absorption of nutrients. Yan. And then yung organisms, it is made up of one cell or unicellular or organ systems. Unicellular or multicellular. Marami tayong iba't ibang uri ng organism. Diba? Unicellular or multicellular organisms. It's like yung mga living things na nakikita natin, yung mga flora and then fauna. Yung flora stands for the plants and then yung fauna, yun yung mga animals. Marami tayong mga unicellular organisms just like protists, fungus or yung fungi, no? Tsaka yung bacteria. So in population, it is a group of organisms of a certain species that operate or work together in a certain area. It's like for example, school of fishes, seal of zebras, tower of giraffe, float of hippos or hippopotamus. Yan yung isang specific kind of population sa isang sa isang certain area. So what about community? So, community consists of different populations interacting and living together in a given area. Magkakasama na kayo dun. All organisms thriving in the deep ocean make up aeon A, not an. No? Sorry for that error. Teka, aeon. Mali yan, dapat A lang yan. Kasi M yung kasunod. Make up a marine community composed of diverse type of fishes and coral reef. Diba? So what about ecosystem? So ecosystem is the interaction of biotic and abiotic component in an environment. So kapag sinabi natin, teka lang, laseran natin ulit kapag biotic, biotic, ibig sabihin living organism. And then kapag abiotic, non-living organism. So, example is the aquatic ecosystem composed of fresh water habitats in the lake. So, ito laseran natin ulit. Ito mga ito just like yan, pati rin ito, mga halaman. So, ito yung mga biotic components. So, what about sunlight? Yung air, yung humidity, yung pH, di ba? So, yan yung halimbawa ng mga abiotic components. So what about biomes? Biome is a specific geographic area notable for the species living there, just like yung desert, no? Desert consists of sand dune, sand plain, oasis community, etc. Maraming iba't ibang example ng biomes, just like desert, tropical rainforests, savanna, temperate deciduous forest, temperate evergreen, temperate coniferous forest, and then tundras. Then lastly, sa biosphere, it is the global ecological system integrating all living beings and their relationship, including their interaction within the elements. So, biosphere is the highest level of biological organization. Then usually, balik tayo. In 1875, meron tayong isang geologist na nagangalang Edward Suez was the first scientist that used the term biosphere to describe the part of the earth where life exists. The two joined words are bio and the new sphere. It can also be termed as the zone of life on earth, a closed system and largely self-regulating. And And then, may iba't iba tayong types ng biosphere din. Maliban pa dyan, no? Just like your lithosphere consists of the Earth's crust and upper part of its mantle. Then atmosphere is what we call the air, no? Or the mixture of gases held around the Earth by its gravitational pull. So yung atmosphere, hangin. Yung lithosphere, ito yung Earth's crust o yung kalupaan natin. Yan, upper part ng mantle. Ika nga. And then, hydrosphere is the sum total of all of the Earth's water in any form, whether it's on the ground as liquid or ice or in the clouds as water vapor. So yan po yun. Pero according to several textbooks or other references, meron pa daw isang iba pang uri nun na kasama pa dito, no, which is yung cryosphere. Yung cryosphere, it's all about the ice forms or glacial forms naman siya. Mga may yellow earth ba, tsaka mga nasa mga bababang temperaturang lugar. So, yun lang naman yun. So, kung may mga questions kayo, pwede yung itanong na sa akin. Yan, comment lang kayo sa baba. And then, suddenly, dito ka na lang tatapusin. No? So, goodbye everyone.